मेथी के पकोड़े की कड़ी। Hi, welcome to Sanjeev Kapoor Khazana. I'm Sonika and the recipe that we're making today is a superb recipe and it's a great comfort food. So what we're making today is a methi ke pakode ki kadhi. Let's take a look at all the ingredients to make this. Fenugreek leaves, sliced onions, yogurt, gram flour, chopped onions, dried red chilies, fenugreek seeds, asafoetida, red chili powder, turmeric powder, salt, carom seeds or ajwain, cumin seeds, kasuri methi or dried fenugreek powder, soda bicarbonate, grated ginger, oil. So to make the curry, what we need to do is we need to salt these fenugreek leaves a little so that they get rid of some of the water and the bitterness. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt to this. I'm just going to mix it around for a bit. We're going to keep this aside for a bit and you will see in a while that a lot of the moisture from the fenugreek leaves is getting released, and what this does, it also gets rid of some of the bitterness from the leaves. So let's put this aside and prepare the rest of the mixture for the pakode. Let's take some gram flour in a bowl. To this, let's add some salt, a little bit of red chili powder, some carom seeds, a tiny pinch of turmeric. Let's also add in a little bit of cumin seeds, some asafoetida or hing, and we're going to add a little bit of the grated ginger to the pakoda, and we're going to keep the rest for the curry. Let's also add some soda bicarbonate so you have a nice light pakodi. And now we want to give all of this a good mix. So all our dry ingredients for the pakodi are ready here, and like you can see, our fenugreek leaves have released a lot of their water. So I'm just going to squeeze out whatever I can. So this is all the bitterness from the leaves going away. And now we're going to add these leaves to the gram flour mixture that we've got. Next, let's add in the sliced onions. And now we want to give all of this a good mix. Okay, so you might or might not need to add water in this because the methi and the onions are both going to release water, which might be enough for binding. But in case you feel that you need to add water, so go ahead and do so. But once you mix this a couple of times, you'll see that there is enough binding already. So this does need some water, so I'm just going to add very little water to this and give it a good mix again. So use less than a tablespoon of water for this. So the oil in which I'm going to deep fry the pakodas are ready, and my pakoda batter is ready as well. So I'm just going to pick up portions of this, and don't worry at all about shaping these pakodis because we're going to add them to the curry. So just pick up portions of this and drop it in the hot oil. So in a couple of minutes, the pakodas are going to go a nice brown in color, and that's when you want to take them out of the pan. Now these won't take a really long time to cook because we haven't shaped them really well. We've dropped just loose droplets of the pakoda mixture. So once they get a nice color, that's when you take them out of the pan like we're doing now. So our pakodas are perfectly fried and ready. Now we'll put these aside and start preparing the curry. So to make the curry, we're going to heat some oil in a pan. So while the oil is getting hot, we're going to mix a cupful of yogurt. You could also use buttermilk if you want, but I've got yogurt here, so I'm using that. We're going to mix along with the yogurt some gram flour. So a little bit of gram flour goes in. I'm going to add a tiny pinch of salt to this. I'm also going to add a pinch of turmeric powder and a little bit of red chili powder for some spice. Now I'm going to whisk all of this really well. So the yogurt and the gram flour is nicely combined with the spices. To this I'm also going to add some water. and whisk it again. We are going to add more water to this, but that's once we've got the curry on the gas and it's bubbling. Okay, so now let's put this aside. So oil is gone nice and hot. I'm going to add a few mustard seeds so they splutter. Next, I'm going to add in some fenugreek seeds. Not too much because I don't want the curry to be really bitter. We're already using methi in this. Also, let's add in some cumin seeds. And then I'm going to add some finely chopped onions. And we're going to mix all of this. Next, I'm going to add some dried red chilies that I've got. I'm going to break it in half. And we also want to add some of the ginger that we've saved. So we're using grated ginger here. So that goes in. You could also add garlic if you want, but there's absolutely no need for doing that because this curry is already so flavorful with just the ingredients we're using. There's no need for any garlic. And now we're going to give this a good mix and let it saute till the onions get a nice light brown color. So now the onions have got a nice brown color, and that's when I'm going to add in the yogurt and besan mixture that we've got. So in this goes. And now we're going to cook this on low heat. At this stage, we're going to add some water to the curry. And we want to mix this really well. And now I've added enough water to this. I'm going to season it with a little bit of salt. Give it a good mix. And we're going to let this cook on low heat for about 10 to 12 minutes or till the curry thickens up nicely. So the curry has been boiling for about 10 to 12 minutes now, and it seems like it's perfectly done. We've got some of the oil that is released from the sides, and it's gone nice and thick as well. What we're going to do now is that we're going to add the lovely pakodas that we prepared to this. So I'm going to turn up the heat for a bit, let it boil for about a minute, turn off the heat and then add the pakodas to this. So at this stage, I'm going to drop in the pakodas. Now I'll put off the heat and give this a nice gentle stir. Let these lovely pakodas sit in the curry for a bit so there is a lovely marriage of flavors from the pakoda as well as the curry. Finally, I'm going to add a tiny sprinkling of some dried fenugreek powder, because this is a methi ke pakode wali curry. So we want the flavor of methi throughout it. Give this a final mix and we're ready to serve. Now I'm going to serve. For that, I've got this bowl over here in which I'm just going to pour ladlefuls of the curry. And I'm going to top this up with some of the pakodi that we prepared. So here it is, a really simple recipe for a fabulous methi ke pakode wali curry. It's a little bitter, so you could add a little bit of sugar if you want to the curry, but it's fabulous just the way it is. Make sure you try it.